The recording. Thank you so much. And we're going to have a great discussion. If you could put your feet flat on the floor, and you want to sit up straight so your body's not slanted, and your sit bones are comfortably supported because your feet are flat on the floor. And let's take just a couple of moments at your own speed to go to the meadow we've been working with as a stop, pause of the whiz whir of the day. And on your own, take a couple of deep breaths to bring some energy up through the earth below the floor that your feet are on. And you want to fold your hands up or down. Um, Allow your eyes to close. This isn't something to take notes on. And if you'd be kind enough to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, take a couple of nice deep breaths. And when you feel like your body's nice and relaxed, you're sitting up nice and tall and supporting yourself, breathing. And when you're ready at your own pace, go to the meadow that you've been visualizing and take a few moments on your own to use your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your hearing. However you have been using your meadow, presence yourself and allow yourself to just breathe. Allow your bottom jaw to drop a bit if you would. It's a way of letting go of your day's activities, your thoughts, feelings, presencing yourself, getting ready for this discussion. Soak up the energy of your meadow. Kind of you're in a moment where you're looking inside, you're not looking out. Kind of see if you can use this trip to your meadow as a way of clearing yourself. Your hands are palms up, your hands are palms down, and the whole process is using your breath as a centering tool to be present and using the beauty of what you create with the right side of your brain through listening and through seeing and smelling and tasting your meadow. There are bushes or flowers or trees or horizons or birds or whatever you color your meadow in is fine. Just be in your meadow. Would you, I know you can, would you let go of the day and all of what you did and didn't do and all of the people you spoke to and the thoughts so that you can access a quieter part to listen from for this next few moments as we look at our spiritual body as a temple for healing. Breathe. Just breathe in your meadow. Just breathe. Maybe you want to bend down in your meadow and feel the earth. Or maybe you want to walk over to a flower or a tree or a shrub. Or maybe you just want to sit still, stand still. Well, thank you so much. And I'm inviting you to bring this softer place of listening, this the images and sounds and smells and the softness of your meadow. Bring that forth for us as we speak and listen to one another for the next few moments. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to open. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So quick review, kinda, sorta. Please write down a couple of qualities of the physical body. I don't mean your physical body. I mean, we we had a discussion about the physical body. Well, what are some qualities of this physical body? Could you write down two or three, please? What are some qualities of the physical body? Two or three is fine. You've had a body for a few years, so I presume you know what a few qualities are of your body, not just your body, but our body. Create some space because we're going to fill in. Would you be kind enough to write down a couple of qualities of your emotional body in the most general sense? What are some qualities of our emotional body? Not just yours, but ours. One or two things, one or two qualities of our emotional body. Awesome. Give yourself a little space. Write down, please, one or two or three qualities of your mental body, not just yours, but ours, as in the human mental body. What are one or two or three qualities that's distinct from your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body? Two or three qualities of our mental body. Just the first two or three that come to mind. Okay? Easy? It's the easy part. Okay. Leslie, what's one quality of our physical body?
Skin.
No, that's not a quality.
Oh,
Nope.
it's not? Oh,
Uh,
that's right. That would be a thing.
that's a
That
thing.
would be a thing.
That's not a quality. What was the second quality you came up with?
It's the same thing, hair and eyes.
Nope, those are
But no,
things.
those are
Those,
things.
those are not
So
qualities.
a quality of a
However, you could just move left or right just a little bit. What does the skin do? What does the skin do as a quality?
it protects you.
No, that's no, that now you're analyzing.
I
Nope,
mean,
nope,
okay.
nope. Let's see.
Give
Isabel,
me
what?
another hint.
Yeah,
Give me another hint.
nope. Let's
Nope. Okay.
just hang in there.
All
Isabel,
right.
what's a quality of our physical body?
Strength. Strength.
Great. I didn't have that. Yes, Absolutely. I'll take that. Good. Lauren, what's a quality of our human physical body? Lauren?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Oh, what'd you write down? Okay. I want to move through this because Lauren, did you write any qualities down of the physical body?
No, I was.
Okay, not to worries. Okay, Joanna, could you take yourself off mute? I'd like to do this because I know I have a lot to present, so I want to see if we can move through this quickly. What's a quality? And when I offer you them, you'll go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Joanna, what'd you write down? What's a quality
I
of our,
did write strength, vitality, physical
wait,
energy.
no, 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 just one, please.
Oh,
Okay,
how about
and not
physical
something,
energy?
I'm not getting it.
okay, great. So, qualities of the physical body. How about I remind you are different than the intellectual and emotional body is that the physical body smells, the physical body touches, tastes, the physical body has pain and pleasure, physical pain and the physical body has hot and cold. That's a quality that the physical body that's not intellectual and emotional. These are physical qualities. The physical body experiences hot and cold. Yes, the physical body hears. Your emotional body doesn't hear. Your intellectual body. So those are what I'm looking for. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
actions.
No, those are not actions. Those are qualities. Those are not actions. Those are
I
qualities. Okay. So
okay.
the physical body, you want to write these down.
Okay.
Lauren, write these down, please. We smell, we
Not
taste,
me. Okay.
we have pain and pleasure. Our physical body can experience hot and cold and touch. We hear, we have sight. Isabel said the physical body has a quality of strength. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it because you guys can definitely remind me of some things I didn't. Okay, let's do better with emotional qualities. What did you write down, Isabel, for a quality of the emotional body?
Compassion?
No. Thank
No,
you.
you mean, no, I get it. Um,
Okay. Joanna,
sorrow,
what did you write down, Joanna, for a quality of our emotional body?
Happiness, empathy.
Nope. Nope.
No, okay.
Nope. Nope. Okay. Glad we're doing this review. So qualities of our emotional body are sadness, joy, anger, and fear. And each of those have many different variations within fear, within anger, within joy, within those are qualities of our emotional body. Yes
I
or
got
yes?
that one right.
Okay. Okay. Missed it. Okay. So you ready? Here we go.
No. Yes.
What are qualities? What did you write down? Qualities of our, not just yours, our mental body. How do we distinguish our mental body from your physical and emotional body? What's a quality of our mental body? Lauren, what'd you write down? I'm sorry,
Focusing,
I didn't hear that.
focusing or
Focusing.
analyzing. I don't know.
Thank you. Excellent. So one quality of the mental body is to be analytic. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, what's another quality of the mental body?
judgmental.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. Thank you. Another quality of the mental body, the physical body doesn't judge, the emotional body doesn't judge, the mental body judges. Mental body is analytical, it's judgmental, it makes discernments between right and wrong, it has morals, it has beliefs. The mental body, it makes statements about what's true and false. Those are qualities. Okay, are you ready? Please Write down 3 qualities that are
Again? Okay.
spiritual qualities. Write down 3 qualities that are spiritual. Hint, hint, 2 of you already mentioned one. So I have a list here of 20 spiritual qualities. I'm asking you to write down 3 that for you in your life are fairly easily accessible, not just you read about them theoretically. But what are 3 spiritual qualities that for you are, ready at hand? I'm not saying, you're a guru and ready to, you know, talk around the world, but write down 3 spiritual qualities of your spiritual body. Okay? Ready? Write down 3 more spiritual qualities that are a bit challenging for you. You read about them, you didn't read about them ever, but these are spiritual qualities, and they're kind of maybe not your strong suit, but they're spiritual qualities. I don't say you struggle with them. I'm not saying you're failing with them, but they're not quite as ready as hand as the first 3. Write down 3 more spiritual qualities. Can you come up with 6?
Can't come up with one. All right.
Well,
I can come up with one. I got one.
okay. Hold on, Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I was a science major.
hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Well, I'm okay. Isabel, do you have one spiritual quality, please, that for you is pretty ready at hand and easier than some others?
Gratitude.
Hey, ding, 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 ding. Gratitude is a spiritual quality. Give that woman a glass of carrot juice with a dash of celery. Excellent. Good job. Joanna, please, come on. I know you can do this, Joanna.
Okay.
I'm counting on you.
Um,
One spiritual
love
quality,
and intuition.
just one, not 2. One.
Intuition.
Intuition is a spiritual quality. Okay, good. Lauren, do you have one spiritual quality?
Forgiving.
Excellent. Yes. Oh my God, you're on a roll. Good. Leslie?
Patience. No?
Could be. I'll take it.
Well, thank you.
I'll-
Or I have another one.
Could be. Could be. Miss Main, do you have one that's a little challenging for you in your particular learning curve? Did you get to think of a spiritual
Enlightenment. Enlightenment.
enlightenment as a spiritual quality? Wow. I didn't have that written down.
Good one.
Absolutely. I'll take it. I want to talk about it in a little bit if you'll help us, but thank you. Joanna, do you have a quality that's, you're not terrible at, but it's not quite as, the first thing you mentioned? Do you have another spiritual quality?
Meditation.
What, please?
Meditation.
No, that's not a quality. That's
Okay.
an access to
Okay.
qualities. That's not a quality.
Okay.
We're going to get to how do we access the
Oh,
quality?
belief?
Definitely not.
No, not belief.
Belief? No, that's a quality of the mental body.
Okay.
But you mentioned
But
something,
belief is beyond what we see. It's something that's
but
spiritual.
it's still but belief is not a spiritual quality. Belief is a function of our rational mind. But you
Uh-huh.
mentioned something before, which is a
Love,
spiritual quality. Yeah, what kind of love?
loving the world, loving life, loving nature, loving
No,
someone.
definitely not those. No, no, unconditionally love, but loving something is different than loving everything. So unconditional love is a spiritual quality.
Okay.
Because if you love nature and somebody doesn't love nature, then that's not a spiritual quality. That's like you. Okay. Lauren, did you come up with any spiritual quality that's a challenge for you?
Being hopeful.
What, please?
Being hopeful.
Hopeful? No,
No.
no. Hopeful is not a spiritual quality. No. Yeah. Yeah. I would say being hopeful is a mental quality. Liz, you want to give it a try? A-
Again, inner peace.
excellent.
Yay!
Excellent.
Finally.
Okay. Yeah. Equanimity, inner peace. Okay. So let's go down some of these. And I bet this is not an exclusive list, but I'd like you to get a feeling. And by the way, every one of these 20 could be wrong. And I just told Lauren that being hopeful is not a spiritual quality. What do I know? It could be wrong.
Yes.
Write these down. One quality of the spiritual body is non-attachment.
Oh, okay.
Non-attachment. Our ability to engage with experiences and relationships, or even our thoughts, or even our emotions, to engage with relationships and thoughts and people and feelings, experiences, without clinging to them and being attached. Like, you should feel what I'm feeling. You should think what I'm thinking. Non-attachment is a quality of the spiritual body. Does not live in your emotions. It's not a heart-centered, I'm joyful, I'm angry, I'm irritable, I'm afraid, I'm sad, I'm happy, and all sorts of variations of feelings. When we get over-identified with what we're feeling, then we're kind of like normal. Some people call that an ego. I don't want to get into what we call it, but there is a world in many traditions. Most of them are religious traditions. Some of them are philosophical traditions that speak about how to condition our responses in a more non-attached way. People who kill each other and because of, you don't believe in the name of God that I believe in. That's like the opposite of non-attachment. Joanna said something a few moments ago. Number 2, I wrote down, and then Isabel did as well, compassion / empathy. They're slightly different, but they're close. I wrote down that's 2 or 3 or part of 2. Our ability to step into somebody else's shoes, our ability to feel what somebody else is feeling, our ability to see what somebody else is seeing, our ability to really listen like they're listening. Technically speaking, compassion is to see somebody else's suffering. What's the difference between compassion and sympathy? Sympathy is you're usually suffering with their suffering. Compassion is you're not attached, but your heart is really open. Empathy. Wow. That sounds like that was really hard. Thank you for sharing that. Those are spiritual qualities to learn about, develop. 3. Thank you, Lauren. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not, Joanna hasn't, but in Love Your Body programs for the last 20,000 people, and oh boy, 1981, that's a long time, a decade or more. A significant part of Love Your Body programs is for people to forgive what doctors have done to them, what we have done to our own bodies, what we haven't done to our own bodies, taking all these vitamins or doing acupuncture or doing chiropractic or eating this and not eating that. But it's not in a space of forgiveness. Well, I wonder why your medications aren't working or the supplements. So for me, forgiveness, as you know, in a Love Your Body program, it's a whole piece for people to create. Forgiveness isn't, they didn't say they're sorry. Forgiveness isn't, they're going to promise to never do it again. Forgiveness is you metabolizing the hurt and not holding it against them. That doesn't mean you stay married to them or you still work for them or they're still your best friend, but you're not carrying the hurt around anymore. And I'm not the only person who likes to use forgiveness as a tool for healing. My orientation is people who know how to forgive enormous hurts, traumas, usually have done a lot of spiritual work to be able to forgive, not just, oh, I did therapy for a couple of months, or I'm not making my mother wrong, or my first husband, or blah, 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 and saying it, but energetically, no, they have not really stepped in and put a cloak of forgiveness around them. I'm not saying it's easy, but I've worked with a lot of people individually. And as you know, it's one of my loves to guide people in Love Your Body programs. 4, spiritual quality. How about kindness? How about
Oh,
just,
that's a nice one.
how about just kindness?
That's nice. ...
For no reason. How about random acts
Acts of
kinds
kind.
of just why? Because you're a nice person? Because you
Because.
want to be liked? Because you need more hugs? No, 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 no,
Just
no, no,
because.
no, no. Just because, I get a little bit of a, well, you know,
Just because.
just because.
Yeah.
Next time, oh, you can't do it anymore. Wow. You know what I was going to say? I was going to say the next time you pay a toll, pay it for this person and back you. You ever do
I've done
that
that before.
years ago? You ever pay somebody's toll and back you?
Yep.
It's great. I'd love to see the look on their face. Now, Lauren, different than hopeful, I'm going to ask you to write down 5. Another spiritual quality is trust.
Ooh.
And as you know, in
I
living,
wrote that too.
thank you. And as you know, our ability to trust for most of us, usually normal people, need evidence. I mean, you obviously don't trust anybody if somebody hasn't broken trust. Usually we're, well, they were married before, or, I heard how they fired that person, or, I don't know. So, I mean, since nobody's perfect and we've all made mistakes, well, then there's your body and trusting your body's ability to heal. And then there's trusting God. You want to really understand the dilemma of trust? Read the book of Job. For those of you who like to read the Bible, read Job. Job struggled with, I don't know if I can count on God. Thank you. Leslie mentioned peace. I also put another word, but peace, inner peace is fine. You might want to write equanimity.
a big word.
Equanimity is a spiritual quality. It doesn't come naturally. Whether you live on an organic farm or you live in a city or you live in a small town, most of these qualities you can see don't just come by going to church or temple or not going to church or temple. Some of these things, personally, and maybe you too, have spent time, and now I'm in a little bit, I don't want to get ahead of myself. How do we learn to access these qualities? I got a few more. Okay, here's a big one. It was almost as big as who said enlightenment? Oh, okay. So write down enlightenment because I didn't write that down. Wow. Okay. So in the world of enlightenment, thank you, Isabel. How about omniscient? Don't hold back. In a world of spiritual qualities, you and I are omniscient. We know everything. There's nothing you don't know.
Oh yeah.
You're omniscient. How about the next one? You're omnipotent. You're all powerful. There's nothing you can't do. From a spiritual perspective, it's only your mind that's got limits, right? And then you think, well, your body's got limits. Yeah, watch, some of the people who go way beyond the way most of us are usually limited. Another spiritual quality that I've spent a lot of time working on developing, I'm not going to tell you how we're doing, you can tell me how I'm doing, is presence. Be here now. Those of us who remember a guy named Ram Dass was, he just coined this term that's been through millennia in different mystical presentations of religion about, just normal people are constantly dwelling in the past like you did all day today. Normal people are thinking about the future. And occasionally when you're on your Peloton or when you're walking or you're cuddling with your dog or your partner or you're doing something, or I'm watering my garden, you and I from time to time are present. But as a spiritual quality, that's actually something like compassion that people work on, how to be more present.
I'm terrible at it.
Thanks to Joanna, I qualified not just love. I mean, because there are so many kinds of love. Yes? From a spiritual quality point of view, unconditional love. Kind of the way a mother, father, don't want to be sexist, loves a child. Or somebody like loves their grandchild. It's like, or maybe the way some women love their husband and some husbands love their wives, maybe. It's like no matter what you do, if you murder somebody, oh my God, God forbid. If you go to, you have to go to jail, I'll still love you. If you go to jail, I'm not going to divorce you. I'm not saying you shouldn't divorce somebody if they go to jail, but unconditional love is different than you need to be this way and you need to stop doing this and you need to start doing that and then I'll love you. Seems harder to me. Wisdom, different than information gathering. Deep wisdom, multidimensional wisdom, slash having an experience, not intellectually careful, because this could slip into an intellectual quality, but if you're in the zone of experiencing the interconnectedness, the multidimensionalness of life, that's a spiritual quality. Careful if I say you have the vision. If you live out of a context of the multidimensional, you don't always see things in separate, distinct parts. You see things in big pictures, multidimensional, like a 35,000 foot altitude viewpoint. That's a spiritual perspective. That's a spiritual quality. Humility. That a spiritual quality? Yeah. Yeah, humility, being humble. A few more. I'm offering you the possibility. I could be wrong. Remember, this is the beginnings of my next book. So you guys can think about this and get back to me or not. Resilience is a spiritual quality. To be resilient,
Okay.
the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. Think about how resilient you are, and some people aren't. That doesn't mean they're not spiritual. I'm saying these are a lot of different windows into a whole other universe that is not mental, emotional, or physical. Our conversation is using our body, code word, physical body, emotional, mental, and now using our spiritual body. How can you use it if you don't know what the spiritual body's made of? It's made of these qualities. At least I think it is. I'm not making sense. How about Grace? Not Grace Jones, not Grace Kelly, just Grace. Joanna, I'm surprised you didn't get, but it's okay. I still love you. Creativity is a spiritual quality.
Oh, not mental. Okay.
It might be hard to see if the only way you write or the only way you paint or the only way you sculpt or the only way you're creative is, and bearing, and then something happens. But why do you think people go under a tree or go to a sunrise or a sunset? Why do you think people go to a place of beauty is to get inspired? And I talk about downloads. It's not coming from your thinking. It's a spiritual quality to have to be used as a vehicle and to have something come through you. And some people like Joanna are like, unbelievably beautiful get artists, like, I'm a Jackson Pollock kind of guy. I put one dot on a big canvas because don't ask me to do anything else. She can actually make something look good. That was a joke.
Thank you.
You might want to, with trust up above, a few up above, you might want to put / courage is also a
Okay.
spiritual quality. Courage. Or keep it separate. I'm almost at the end of my qualities. Transcendence. And I think that's what maybe Joanna was, or someone about beyond what you're believing. But you got to be careful because it can't be believing through your logical, linear, rational left brain, or that won't be a spiritual quality. That'll just be you're stretching what you see. Transcendence as a quality is to go beyond normal physical, normal mental, normal emotional levels. Those are a few qualities that I've come up with. Anybody want to ask, comment? Did it tickle you to say something I didn't? I'm so happy a couple of you came up with a couple of things I didn't. But do you get the way I'm being careful to have us consider qualities that are not born in our logic, rational, mental, analytical, judgmental place. Oh, I just came up with another one. How could I not think of this? Inspiration is a spiritual quality.
You mentioned that.
Mhm.
Inspire.
You did mention that.
Thank you. How often throughout the day do you feel inspired? That's what this is one, you could take this list and for the next couple of days go, how often during the day do I feel grateful? How often during the day do I feel like I'm mechanically responding to that and mechanically responding to that? I love that. I don't like that. Oh my God, I got to turn off that and I got to turn on that. And it's all mechanical. How often are you feeling creative? How often are you feeling inspired? How often are you feeling gratitude? How often, when you've had a disagreement, when you've had a disconnection, when you felt separate, are you able to be angry? This is really tough. And momentarily, not 3 weeks later, feel compassionate for yourself because the other person didn't really hear you or get you, or really feel compassionate for the other person because they just were listening and talking to you like you were their father or their brother. They didn't listen. Well, it'd be difficult for them to listen to you like you're your brother, but you understand what I'm saying, your sister. In other words, they didn't listen to you like your name. They listened you like you said something like their sister said. And and you try to get them to hear what you really said and they're stuck. Can you be compassionate with them? Okay, I'm going to stop. Anything you want to ask or comment on? There's another
Do,
big piece I
do,
want to get to. Please
do you
go.
know, do you know the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse?
I don't.
It's,
I didn't hear what you just said.
I said it's all about this. It's a lovely, very simple, beautiful book.
Nice.
At a movie, it was a little video, wasn't it?
They did make a video.
It
of
was lovely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Send me the link to the video. Thank you. Okay. Please write down the word access. What I mean by access is ways that you specifically access these qualities, or ways you don't, but somebody else says they do this, that, and the other, and they have more gratitude. They have more creativity. They have more compassion. They have more of a sense of transcendence and less of a point. This is what they do. And compared to 10 years ago, in certain areas, they are much less attached. So could you write down, Leslie? Can you write down one or two, Isabel? What are ways? How about spiritual practices that particularly open up some spiritual qualities for you? This is where we are all handicapped, not just Leslie being a science major. This is where we're all handicapped because we don't live in Tibet where there's a sacred culture. We have people going to temples, we have people going to churches, arguing with one another and doing a lot of rituals. And then we have a lot of people of certain ages for the last 20, 30, 40 years that won't go in a temple or a church because it's so uninspiring. So all of us have picked up some ways of access. At least people that come into my office, take my Love Your Body programs, or come on a call like this. Now, I understand that there are people who I call cowboys and cowgirls. I've never said that on a video, but now it's out in the open. I say that a lot to people in my office. What I mean by that is their particular karma is not to find practices to develop more spiritual qualities, because their life in their physical, mental, and emotional body is what is senior and most important. But for you and I, we spend days, weeks, months, and years seeing how might I be more compassionate? Well, I don't know. What are you doing to be more compassionate? What's your access? You know, as in, don't say I'm learning. I want to know how you're learning. Can I have some of that lipstick too, Les?
My lips are so dry. Here.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. Joanna, what's one access that you use from time to time?
Well, when I was faced with brain surgery, I read Pema Chodron
Got it.
and the Buddhist philosophy of that nothing lasts forever, nothing good lasts forever, nothing bad lasts forever. Just be in the moment.
But I want to know what is what's you're a little too specific as you're giving me a theory, a Buddhist theory. I want to know if you could, in a category, what's the access to develop to get what is it that if you could generalize what you just did,
Being present, I think.
how did you get present? What that
Reiki,
I
maybe Reiki.
well, I don't know. So, you mentioned two possibilities, but I would like all of us to get clear so you could write these down and have them real clear. So one thing I heard works for you, Joanna, that works for some people and doesn't work for some is, were you with Pema Chodron or did you read her book or listen to her?
I read her book.
Oh, good. So reading scriptures of religious saints
Mm-hmm.
or present prophets,
Mm-hmm.
alive thought leaders. For some people, it can rearrange their mental thought process and has the possibility of not just becoming a belief. It also has the possibility of becoming a belief and then you becoming a righteous, born again Buddhist rather than it being a spiritual quality.
Mm-hmm.
But as a movement, those of you want to remind yourself what it looks like when you're sitting in my office, where I am now, is, there are many hundreds and hundreds of books. So Joanna said one access for some people is to read some book that's written in a way where you can listen it and not believe it like a religious text, but it can then help how you relate to life as a spiritual quality. And then she went on Buddhist, etc. Okay. Then the second thing Joanna said was Reiki as a question. I just want you to all write down that as an access for some people is working with energy, with acupuncture, energetics. Those of you who have allowed me to do body work with you know that I've been with 6 or 8 different shamans from around the world. My main teacher, Virginia, is one person. She doesn't call herself a shaman, but I've been blessed to work with a number of different ways of using my hands to get people out of their head, get people out of emotional patterns, and not just do Reiki where they feel more relaxed, but do Reiki where possibilities are opened up because I'm clearing energy. Not all acupuncture will do that. Not all body work will do that. Not all Reiki practitioners, since Reiki is like, oh my God, I met a woman months ago who was getting her Reiki master. I said, well, what's that? And she said, oh, pay this person. I won't even mention the name because the person who was giving out diplomas as Reiki master used to be a patient of mine. Oh my God. And it was a 1-day course for somebody to call themselves a Reiki master. Oh my God. So be it. So, is
It's
there
a business.
it's a business. But one day somebody could be great and that they just need a diploma to hang their head on. or hat on, or maybe hang their head as well. Isabel, what's one way that you access spiritual qualities?
Swimming, when I get my head in the water and just
Wow.
swim.
Okay, so you
And-
can appreciate, I hope you can appreciate that not everybody who swims and puts their head in the water opens up to spiritual qualities. What I would like you to write down, please, is movement. There's there's Sufi dancing. There's
Yeah, I dance with my eyes closed is my other way. Yeah.
yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
There's qigong, there's
Yeah.
tai chi, there's different kinds of hatha yoga. Now, remember, there are lots of people doing hatha yoga, and it's like calisthenics, and there's no opening to spiritual qualities the way it could be, because the person who's leading it rushed into class and rushed in. It was like a workout under the name yoga. And not everybody who does Tai Chi is going to develop and not everybody who puts their head in water. But for Isabel, it is. So there, it has something to do with intention, but I'd like you to get the categories, understanding that moving energy in our body, not everybody who's a marathoner, not everybody who's a sprinter, not everybody does Peloton, but movement can be a way of getting somebody out of their head, out of emotions, and getting into a space that's a portal for accessing some of these qualities. Leslie, do you have something else that you do that hasn't been said?
Yes,
What is it, please?
I do breathing exercises, and it's
Done.
called the Ujjayi breath. And
Okay.
I'm sure everybody knows what that is, right?
Too much detail? No, thank you. So please, everybody write down breathing. You don't have to do the breath that Leslie said, because I don't want Leslie to think it's the Ubriah breath. I just want Leslie
Not
and all of
Ujjayi.
you to get, I just
Right.
want all of you to get it's breathing.
You're right.
And there are all kinds of pranayama is a in the Hindu world. There's Buddhist breathing, but it's not just breathing. It's ways of alternating left, right, masculine, feminine, in, out, that changes brain, that allows portals to open up. So different kinds of breath is something to write down as an access to get these qualities. How about some of you meditate? Some of you visualize.
Answer a question, please. Did you empty this out?
Could you, Isabel, could you turn this off?
Yes or no?
Thanks, Isabel. Can you just wait 1 second? Thanks. Sorry. Okay. Take a deep breath, Is. Thank you. Okay, take a deep breath. A number of you have done visualizations. You've put yourself in trance states. You've done presence practices. So that's all on one line. Different meditations, not anybody, but who's leading the meditation and who are you being? There are different visualizations. There are different ways of trance, getting you into trances. There are different ways of practicing being more present. Different prayer.
Mm.
There are different ways of praying. Joanna might do a Buddhist prayer, but she also might do a Jewish prayer, or she might do an Islamic prayer, or she might do different prayers. But prayers, repetitive prayers, might get somebody into a different rhythm than their normal discursive, rational, linear thinking and allow them to access a spiritual quality. So Joanna said, connect with prophets or entities or gods or goddesses or thoughts when you're meditating. That's different than reading some prophet or wise nun or monk who's written a book. Here's one you might not write down or have thought of, but please write it down. I'm not telling you do this. I just want to make sure your smorgasbord is a little bit similar to mine. Ready for another access? Ready? Drugs.
Wow.
Ayahuasca, mushrooms, LSD, MDA, MDMA. Now, you might say, I'm not doing any of those. Well, good. I'm not telling you should. I'm just saying that there are traditions in indigenous people, and there are not thousands or tens of thousands, there are hundreds of thousands of people. Oh my God. MDMA and mushrooms are now legal in Massachusetts for people with trauma because of what it allows them to access and get transcendent to that helps them release trauma. Wow. Timothy Leary, wasn't completely crazy. Ram Dass, I mean, those drugs. Couple, and then I want to see if you have any questions. And by the way, this is not an exhausted list. Here's something that I had at the top of the list that I forgot. So these are not in any order. The category is frequencies. The specifics in that category are music, color, crystals, chanting, changing your vibe. I remember I did a Buddhist meditation in the early 70s when I was, a little younger. And we went into a cabin that was painted green. The floor was green. And it was a 5-day meditation on the color green and the earth. That got me to search for a book that I've used called The Principles of Light and Color, which was Walt Disney's inspiration. So frequencies, certain kinds of notes and harmonics, certain kinds of songs, certain colors, yantras in Hinduism are visualizations that you're looking at. In Tibetan Buddhism, you've seen these sand castles, these mandalas, right? So it's a way of developing certain patience, certain creativity, certain spiritual qualities. 2 more. I have 10 categories, but obviously there are a lot more given how we've just talked about them. Sexual energy for some people. Maybe you haven't experienced it. This is beyond, wow, that was a really good orgasm. That was a very pleasurable sexual experience. I'm talking about using sexual energy in its rising, sustaining, releasing as a way of accessing energy that's way beyond orgasmic pleasure and all about relationship with yourself or another person. It might include pretty different orgasms in duration and intensity, but it is not about orgasm. It's about spiritual qualities and creativity. And there are some wonderful people in this country that have studied, and that's their niche, some friends of mine in Chicago, Tantra Nova, and it's something that there are videos and there are books and there are 1-day courses and there are 5-day courses and there's a weekend workshop you can go alone or with a partner. But in terms of developing spiritual intimacy, spiritual qualities, Tantra is an access tool. And the last one I is one of my favorites, and I'd like you to write it down so you can consider it. The last access tool I offer you for your spiritual body, to use your spiritual body as a tool for healing, is contribution, is you living your life philanthropically, living your life and making sure you've got not just money to give away to tithe, but once a month, you give a morning. Once a quarter, you give 2 hours. Don't go through a year without not giving. And it's giving, particularly not just giving because this will make that person happy. Wow. All that food you brought those nurses. Wow. That's kind. That's crazy kind.
Not contribution.
Yeah, I mean people who need food. I mean people who are dealing with disasters. I mean animals that don't have homes. I mean things about the earth that touch you because you care about the earth, or animals, or where is your passion? And then how do you devote time, not just donations and money, because you will feel better being careful to not do it because you should do it. But I'm suggesting it opens up doors of spiritual qualities. You living more philanthropically, particularly when you don't have time to, but you make time to. Like you also don't have time to exercise, but you're on your Peloton or you walk and you go to your Pilates class. There's a lot of things people don't have time to, but they do it because it's part of their rhythm of their life. So I'm coming to the close of this discussion. I've spoken about the answer to this question I'm going to ask you, and it's okay if you forgot because it's a big one. So if these qualities of patience and gratitude and compassion and empathy and joy and and these spiritual qualities, some of us in life would love to have more of. And you either go to church regularly 3, 4, 5 times a day because you believe in mass, or that one's over, so you don't do that, but you do something. You have a community, or you don't have a community, and that's missing. Should add that to the access list. Thank you. Community, spiritual community it's hard to do by yourself. But a lot of churches and temples and mosques are too dry, and then we go to this and it's, people say, oh, it becomes like a born again. Everyone should do this. And okay, so I don't want. So if it's so easy to agree, life would be better if we could develop more of these spiritual qualities. And it's not like some of these meditations or Tai Chi or giving or breathing or reading more books like Joanna did, or you've all read books, I've read books or workshops. So what are the blocks to connecting to our spiritual body? Generically, yes, the person sitting in your seat, your blocks. But I also will make it easier for you, our blocks. This is not just you. It is you, unless you have a teacher or you put yourself in an environment where you can wrestle with this. But what are the blocks that make accessing these spiritual qualities so difficult when even if I got half of them wrong, and humility is not, and compassion is not, a few of them make sense to me and they make sense to you. So how come you don't meditate an hour or two a day? How come you don't wear more crystals and, don't donate, 6 hours once a month? What are the blocks for you and I as human beings that makes this whole game so challenging? I'm looking for the answer for all of us, not just you.
Lazy.
I think lazy Les is a
Me.
manifestation
Oh,
that affects all of us from time to time. You could have said undisciplined.
oh, okay.
You could have said not committed. You could have
Yeah.
said not ready. I think, and I don't think lazy is not the answer, but what is it that allows you and me to give in to our laziness? What is it? I'm going to give you a big hint that makes you think earning money is so important.
Selfish.
Yeah, what is it that makes you so selfish? So I want to circle back.
Fear,
Say what, please?
fear,
Thank you. Much closer than what Leslie and I were talking about. So fear is an example of what, Isabel?
something that blocks you from accessing.
Yeah, it is something that blocks you, but fear is fear is a
Is
quality.
emotional quality.
Okay, so fear is a quality of the emotional body.
Mhm.
Okay, so I did put some thought into tonight. I put some thought into these whole five. So where did we start? Where did I start us an hour and 5 minutes ago? I
With the
started
physical body. Yeah.
good. And the qualities of what?
The qualities of the physical body. Right?
And what was next?
The emotional body.
And what was next?
Um, the
Wait a minute.
mental,
Good.
Mentally.
and then the spiritual.
So here's the dilemma for us. So some of my teachers have said, being kind and compassionate with ourselves, like we're growing and learning. We're all kind of stuck in the same evolutionary pattern of being lazy and not committed and thinking money and relationships and relationships with others are more important than your relationship with yourself, or relationships with your job and making money to prove that you're worthy because your parents thought your brother was more worthy than you, so you got to make money. The dilemma is that the mental body and the emotional body, you and I put more time into because that's the way we've been wired.
Okay.
We want to develop emotional qualities and mental qualities. You want to be smarter. You want to feel more. You want to be more emotionally flexible. You want to be more heart-centered. Now, that's a little edgy. That could be spiritual to be heart-centered and kind and more unconditionally loving. But I'm just offering you the way it's been presented to me in the last 50 years and $500,000. The guard dogs that makes it hard to really stay spiritually if you're not in a community, if you don't have a spiritual teacher, if your friends are not particularly riding the same wave you are, is you've got this war between your mental body and your emotional body. And every now and then your spiritual body tries to slip in, but what you and I put more money into, what we put more time into, what our ego thinks is more important is what we believe. As one of my teachers said, being right is like diamonds. People kill each other in Gaza and Ukraine and all over the planet because the human evolution of where we're at is who wants to be wrong?
Nobody,
Nobody, you know?
nobody.
So it's hard to forgive, even at our level. And, we're not in Gaza and Ukraine. So be careful of how much you buy into your judgments. Be careful of how much you need to be right. I'm speaking to myself because my closest teachers, who I've spent the most amount of time and have surrendered the most amount to, and most of you who know me well know that I'm not a guru kind of guy. So they've never asked for that kind of loyalty. Otherwise, I'd probably bolt. But the way I survived in my family was needing to be right. How well do you take criticism? How well do you take correction? So I sometimes I don't give correction as kindly as I'd like. Can you
I
imagine?
never made you say that.
Can you imagine how hard it was for Isabel a few moments ago when her husband walked in? Wow. You okay, Is?
Yeah.
Good. That was hard. But the way I survived, I don't say this as an excuse. I'm just saying that what I learned was the way I survived in my childhood was I'm going to be like my mother, I'm going to be right all the time. Being judgmental was a survival, a coping strategy. So I notice even sometimes when I offer somebody, go a little bit more right, you're a little bit leaning left, and somebody goes, I was leaning left. Some people who find it so difficult, these people, you can't correct somebody that's not asking for feedback. Good. Could you come over to my house and remind me, don't offer?
Oh, I could tell you a story about Dr. Taylor that would make you laugh and laugh.
Do not offer. Even it doesn't matter. So, the spiritual qualities, 25, 30 years ago, I don't think people talked about gratitude the way there are now gratitude practices. Write down every night before you go to sleep 5 things you're grateful for.
That's a great idea.
Out of this discussion, look at some spiritual qualities that you might want to deepen. And then you want to ask me for a book, you want to ask me for a workshop, you want to ask me for an exercise, you don't want to ask me anything, ask somebody else. Don't have to ask me, I'm just offering. In other words, use tonight as a way in this, our body code word, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, as a tool for healing. Be careful of over intellectualizing spiritual qualities. Be careful of it's always got to feel comfortable. Sometimes you'll learn a lot when you're willing to be uncomfortable and take the risk. Thoughts, comments? Les, anything you want to say before you say goodnight, Gracie?
No, I enjoyed this evening a lot. I got a lot of answers wrong. And for me, this is a laboratory where I get to learn. As you said, I always think I'm right. I always think I'm so smart. No, I can remember vividly one time sitting in your office years and years ago, and we were talking about my diet. And I told you what I had for breakfast. I had a bagel, and I'm so proud of myself with salmon. And you stop right there. You said, "Why don't you just have a donut?" Bagels and donuts are made the same way. And I was like, "Oh yeah."
You've forgiven me.
Listen, I have never eaten a bagel since, and that was probably 18 years ago.
Wonder my bagel stock is going down. Big hugs. Isabel, anything you want to ask or say?
You're great,
Um,
Leslie.
Say what?
Well,
No,
pardon me?
I'm definitely gonna send you the link to that book because it's just so perfect for what we've been talking about.
Okay, thank you. Les, you have any more to say?
No, I'll shut up.
Good. Okay. Joanna?
No, I really enjoyed this. It really kind of expanded my mind, you know,
It did.
about
It
Without
did.
drugs. Oh my
It
God.
was
Go
lovely.
figure.
Oh,
Go figure. Lauren, anything you want to ask or say?
No, thank you.
So this has been really valuable to me. I want to thank you so much for helping me learn, put some of this stuff out about our physical, mental, emotional bodies. So thank you.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
see
you.
some of you in the
have
next
a great
weeks.
vacation.
Well, whatever vacation it turns out to be, I will. I'm going on retreat the first week of September, and then I'm back, and then I'm going to San Francisco to a tennis tournament. No, that I'm not playing in, but will be pretty phenomenal. Then I'm back a couple of weeks, and in October, I'm going to be with my teacher Jeff Bland doing a whole conference about longevity and memory and sleep and energy as we get older, and that's middle of October. So lots of time to learn. And I'll be sending you some emails because I'm doing no less than 7 different talks this fall on different topics that are all free. Some of them you can zoom into that are being sponsored by different people, Council on Aging and different communities that are sponsoring me that you can either come to live or you can zoom into. And I'll send you where and when and dates. They start in September.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
Yeah,
Blessings.
thank you.
Have a wonderful rest of your summer as
Yeah.
deliciously
You
hot.
too.
God, hot. Hugs.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you, thank you.